Perfect. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of RWD Podcast. I am your host, Viv. This is Real World Discovery Show, and it is Own Academy's online thought leadership series featuring experts from modern industries. By subscribing to our podcast, to our channel, you'll discover real world problems and solutions, gain industry tacit knowledge, and pick up insight and advice from an experienced professional on what it takes to succeed in real world. So subscribe right now before it's too late, and let's go to our guest. I'm just going to give a little bio about our guest so you guys have a better understanding of who she is. And then after that, I let her introduce herself. So the guest that I have for you guys today is one of thousands of guests that I'm super excited to actually have on the show. She has been working at networking and coaching enthusiast with 7 years of business experience, connecting with 2,000 plus clients worldwide. That number still shocks me every time I read it. She manages B2B relationship with diverse industries and provides coaching to unlock potential. Also, she collaborates with international teammates and offer expertise in sales, marketing, education, leadership, hiring, recruitment, whatever you guys can think of. This lady has the answer for you. So today we're going to talk to her about career development for career starters. That will be the focus of the conversation, and she will gonna give you so much more gem. I'm 100% sure of it. So let's go ahead. Please introduce yourself and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Viv. It's such a pleasure to be here. So, how do I start? I mean, you basically giving all of the introduction already. But yeah, because it's for career starters, so probably I could introduce myself from my education background, which very not related with my job because I used to study in accounting. So I got my accounting degree. And now I kind of trapped, but also passionate with sales. So I've been doing sales and then marketing and then public relation, anything that related with, you know, networking and connecting with people for about 8 years. So it's going to 8 years, not 7 years. But yeah, so here I am now.
Perfect. So glad that I finally have you on the show. Since you actually talked about studying accounting, let's start with that question.
Mhm.
Tell me your journey. What did you study at school? What did you study at the university? And how did you end up where you are right now? As you said, trap or stuck with it. Also, being interested in sales and doing what you do right now. Tell me everything.
Yeah. And also passionate. Don't forget to highlight that part. But so a little bit background. My father is a lecturer, so he studied in business management, and he got a master in international relationship. And he's saying that when he study those things, and he actually become a lecturer in international relationship and management and tourism, and he said that don't go and study those two major. So he actually studied that things and then teaching people about it, but he asked his kids to not study that. And the reason why, he mentioned that those two fields is something that you can learn in the field, like more into practical and stuff. So he kind of, like guide and force us, me and my sister, at the same time to learn something that can make us an expert. So expert meaning something like, like a doctor or psychology, lawyer, and accounting. Back then, you need to have a degree to be a great accounting, right? So yeah, and like both of my parents raised me pretty well, and I can say like wise because they not giving me the luxury to do some known education related stuff. For example, if I want to hang out or if I want to get a new cell phone, I need to earn it. But if I want to have, like an English course or piano course or something that can improve my or uplifting my skills, they will provide it. So that's the moment when I realized, no, I cannot live in this lifestyle because I usually hang out with people or friends that always love to hang out. So that's when I try to do a lot of stuff. I try to sell cell phone package data back then when I was in, I think, elementary school. I don't know, like sticker and then bracelet, energy drink. When I was in senior high school, there's an opportunity when I need to, and like it's kind of like a shallow reason because I just doing it to get like some additional or an extra pocket money. But that's the moment I start to realize that I like it, like meeting people and then getting a lot of rejection is kind of burn my blood. Like I need to close them, I need to convince them to buy the product or whatsoever. So that's kind of like the moment when I start to realize that I'm into sales. And in 2015, my pops passed away. So I mean, I don't really have someone that, like guide or direct or force me to do stuff. And I start to realize, oh, I can do things by my own. So I know what I need to do, and then I start to figure out, and I ended up in sales for my first job.
Wow, I had no idea about like your previous gigs and what you were doing when you were little. It's so interesting. I love that. Um, So you currently, actually, with this answer, you told me what pursued you to be in the current position that you are in right now. You also mentioned that because you were good with people, and every time there was rejection, you really wanted to convince them to actually buy that product, whatever it was. So I'm going to ask a question about the key qualities that we actually need in this industry. What are some of the key qualities that you think are essential for anyone who's working in your industry?
Okay. So I can say it's not specifically only for sales role or something that related with, like sales marketing, public relation, but it's actually applicable for any roles. So I'm gonna say that, you know, when you have a good interpersonal skill, as in the ability to caring. So for me, it comes natural because I always have this like high empathy and interest to connect, and like have a connection with people. So it's a bit easier for me, but again, it's something that needs to be maintained. So even though you don't really have it, you can always practice and go with it. But yeah, so the ability to caring, and then teamwork, as active listening. So for me, like when I talk, I really try to understand people, and that's something that's relevant, and you can say like an essential skill for people that want to work in sales role. But again, it's also applicable for another roles.
That's good. I love that you gave qualities that work in any different role, because our main focus is actually more on career developments, which the next question is going to follow up on that. What do you consider the most important factor in career development for young professionals?
uh Sorry, can you repeat that one?
Yeah. What do you consider as the most important factor in career development for young professionals?
Ah, yeah. So I think it's still related to that because, like, when I said interpersonal skill, I just mentioned like some of the example about interpersonal skill, right? But it actually contains a lot of more. So, for example, when you have the active listening, or like when you have the ability to really connect with people, regardless if you get like a profit or non-profit, or like benefit or non-benefit for it, the opportunity will come in the end of the day. So for me, um the opportunity usually comes from referral. So it could be from my client or a friend or a family or someone that I just, have an opportunity to work with in the past. And because I maintain those good relationship and I manage a really good connection with them, it will come back. So the project and then any opportunity will come eventually. And I think that's really important, especially for, a career starter, because everyone can do an absolutely amazing project or make an amazing portfolio, right? But what people remember about you is not how good you are to do a job or to do a project or whatever. They will remember the feeling when they connect with you. So that's what I also implement to myself, and I also encourage most of my student and anyone that start to building a good relationship for their career. So just make a genuine connection, and then be be sincere every time they have a project or they do something with people. Just be genuine and caring, and be a great active listener for them.
You just mentioned connecting with people and making genuine connection, which is part of networking as well.
Yeah.
Can you share one personal experience where networking played a very significant role to advance your career?
Mhm. Oh, there are so many examples about it. So I can say now I don't really looking for a job because the opportunity um, usually come. I'm not trying to break here, but sometimes there's always somebody ping me in a direct message of my Instagram or LinkedIn and offer an opportunity. But back then, I usually was the one who's seeking for it, who find the opportunity to chase it and everything. And uh the, and that being said, um one of the example that I implement about the interpersonal skill to make the genuine connection. There was one time uh I met a company that interests to hire me. And then after the long process, because it's pretty big company, and then I ended up not really work with them because one of another reason. But I still try to manage a good connection and relationship. So it's always like a wrong stigma about a hiring process and recruitment, because sometimes the candidate always have the tendency to feel scared or have a big fear if they need to reject an opportunity, or if they wanna have a discussion about moving forward or reject or anything. But for me, I always try to be open and genuine, and just telling the truth to them. And then when I did that, um I got a lot of side, like a side hustle. They kind of offer me a side hustle even though I reject that opportunity. And until today, I still manage a really great communication with them, and we kind of become friends. And every time he moves, so he already moved two companies since the previous one when he tried to hire me, and he keep giving me the opportunity. It's either like a client number or a referral or anything. So I feel so uh I feel that I get so many benefit and advantage by having the genuine connection, because back then when I reject them, I don't really expect that we can be friends, or that I can get another opportunity by maintaining this. But I just try to be genuine and then really connect with him. And here we are, really be a good friend, and then having a lot of um switching a lot of opportunity to each other.
That's beautiful. With this comes a lot. I mean, you seem like a very confident person. Let's say it first. So, can you tell me if you've ever had any experience with overcoming imposter syndrome and building confidence in your career?
Okay. Um let's make this straight first. Like imposter syndrome, for me, is a feeling created by thoughts, right? So these thoughts are never based in reality. And it can grow from insecurities, fears, and self-doubt. And don't get me wrong, I sometimes get that. I sometimes feel the imposter syndrome as well. But again, like those thoughts for me are not supported by facts. So like the feeling, when I feel those imposter syndrome that make me create the feeling of being fraud, or whatever, or if I cannot live up with people expectation and stuff, and if I compare myself to other in unrealistic way, I start to understand that the real imposter people will never ever feeling imposter syndrome. Does that make sense? So I mean, like the real imposter, they haven't really experienced success. They have nothing to lose. That's why, like, they do those kind of imposter things. Or they also, like, have usually like a genuine narcissistic, if I can mention that. And the irony of that imposter, like the irony is that imposter rarely experience imposter syndrome. So again, like the real imposter usually don't really experience imposter syndrome. And how do I usually manage it? So I have a journal, and I usually journal once or twice a day. Or if I'm lazy, I just do it maybe 3 times per week. But that's when I really, like, write all of my achievement down. And also, like, I just reflect on every positive feedback, and also the constructive feedback one that I've received from my colleague, my supervisor, from anyone. And sometimes I can also put it, it's not always need to be work related, so sometimes I also put like the personal feedback as well. But those things become the evidence to replace every irrational thoughts that I have that make me think that I got imposter syndrome. So I always, identify situation in which that I've been successful, and I write those down. And I start to realize, because it's gonna trick my brain, right? So I just gonna ask myself what I did to effectively produce in those situations, and then I will just do those things again. And if they work once, they will likely work again. So otherwise, I will just make what things that doesn't really work, and then work on those things as well. But again, journaling usually help me to map that out.
Oh my God, I love this. I never thought of it this way. I always like go down the rabbit hole and it's like a never ending thing.
Yeah, it's a devil cycle.
Yeah, for sure. Um, can you tell me the importance of continuous learning and upskilling in today's fast-paced business environment?
Yeah, very important, especially when the technology and AI run the world. I mean, it's scary, it's terrifying, but it's also exciting at the same time, especially for me because I work in SaaS company. So we really invest our time for building this technology product. But yeah, it can be like, like two side of a knife. Like, you can do it for good things, you can go do it for bad things. But upskilling is definitely necessary. Because, for example, I used to just work in a regular sales thing, right? So I don't, I mean, I know how to use tools, I know how to use platform, but sometimes I don't really optimize that. And now when I start to really open about this, like massive changes in this world, I really make my work efficient. So for example, like a small thing, like when I want to respond or maybe follow up all of my clients email and then message or anything, I usually spend like an hour or maybe more just to draft a proposal and then make a good message and stuff. And now there's a chat gpt, right? And there's a lot of tools that you can utilize for make your work efficient. And also, in marketing things, so people usually, like back then, usually go with banner or like make a complicated and sophisticated things to make other people know about their brand. But now there's a lot of marketing tools, and there's a lot of boot camp, and then there's a lot of, it's so easy to access the technology and things. And again, like, I can be a good sales back then, but I need to always learning, and I need to always upskilling all of the things that related with my work, or otherwise I will get left behind. So yeah,
It
even
also
for
helps with confidence.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so another question. You talked about ChatGPT, but I actually want to talk about digital platforms like Instagram or any other social media platform.
Mhm.
Can you tell me how can young professionals leverage technology and digital platforms to enhance their career prospects?
There's a lot of tools. I mean, by subscribing on Academy is like one of the way as well, right? So again, with this, massive changes, especially in technology, there's a lot of options such as online learning, when people can just join online courses, webinar, or any educational platforms. But again, it's necessary, I think, before break that down, like what kind of things that they can leverage to upskilling. uh you need to put like the right mindset for it. So that's something that I always say to myself as well. No matter how long that I've been working in this field, there's always something new, right? And like, it's such a wasted if I don't really put myself into it, if I don't really update myself with anything that up to date. So again, online learning helped. Professional networking, it's very necessary, such as connect with any industry experts and then join relevant groups and participate in discussion to expand your network. But that's very crucial. And I think the last piece is personal branding as well. Like, it's not only about you can do a good job or you are a hard worker, but people need to understand and know, like, you need to be feasible to other people, so the opportunity will come as well.
So actually, that's a strategy, right? In order to win in a competitive job market, is to work on your personal brand, right?
Correct. Correct.
Mm-hmm. And how do we do that?
Oh, there's a lot. Some of the things that I usually suggest to people is like, first of all, when the opportunity comes, even though you are not seeking for it, just say yes and explore it first. I mean, you can always reject it in the end of the day, right? But just be open and then explore it. So that's first. And for me, it's not, I mean, we already in the time when you just not working for one job, but you need to like several source of income. So do full time, of course, and then have like some side hustle like freelance. It doesn't need to be a really good amount of money, but at least if you really passionate and then exciting for it, you need to keep that. So the reason being is, again, personal branding is not a rocket science. It doesn't come for a day. It doesn't like, oh, Rena is this kind of person because I put something on my LinkedIn, right? It's because word of mouth as well, and then people experience, meet me, connect with me, and then they feel um they feel what I put in my LinkedIn. So again, personal branding, one of the way is to have your online presence. So you really make yourself visible. But like 70% of it, like the really big things that you need to do is like to be committed and maintain that. So if I tell people that I have a good interpersonal skill, as in um every employer that I work with will hire me back. And I really committed with it. You know, like I try my best to giving 100% and then maintain their expectation and then be aligned with them. So that's a personal branding. It's something that I can put online, but 70% is something that I need to be committed with.
True. Definitely social media. There are a lot of things that we put on social media, but it doesn't really mean that's us. But also at
Yeah,
the same time, we need to be very careful about the things that we put, because they are going to affect our brand image, personal brand
correct.
image, whether we like it or not.
Mhm.
Um, okay, perfect. So the next question that I have for you, I want to ask whether it is meaningful coaching and mentoring, to have coaches and mentors. How can they contribute to the growth and development of early career professionals?
I see. Okay, coaching and mentoring. I will say think of them as your career GPS, you know, like guiding you through the maze of professional challenges, which have many. So coaching for me is like having a personal cheerleader, because even I have one. So you need someone who motivates you and then provides any valuable feedback and then helps you navigate the twists and turns in your career. You need someone to guide you into that. And mentoring is, in the other hand, is like having, how do you say, like a Jedi master. You watch the movie, sharing their wisdom and then tricks of the trade, and do any mind tricks. So you know, like the power of coaching and mentoring is make you understand like what path that will be more rational that you can take, and then which path that you, so you also can be more confident because you have someone that guide you, that guide you for that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Correct. Very correct, actually. I have
Do
a
you have
mentor
one?
myself, a coach. Yeah, I do have a coach myself as well. It helps you a lot. It's definitely like your personal cheerleader for sure. It helps you a lot. Yeah.
That's
Um,
good.
Rena, one of the core competencies here at Own Academy is work ethic and commitment to excellence. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see what that looks like in your field.
Mm-hmm. Work ethic and excellence, right? Okay. um
Commitment to excellence, yes.
a commitment to excellence. So I think, as if I can say that, especially in sales, because people thinks that, you know, sales is again like a rocket science. Like some people think that, oh, you just need to have luck, or you just need to be a really good salesperson or whatsoever. But for me, like and I have been doing it for 8 years. I don't think there's such thing as luck. That's first of all. And second thing, there's no such a brilliant salesperson. I know that everyone can sell products, sell themselves, like everyone have that. But the thing is that related with one of the core value in on academy, um, work ethic related with discipline, right? And then also like commitment to excellence. um I always say, if I want to close, let's say, 5 clients, if I want to engage with 5 clients in 1 quarter, that means I need to get at least 10 rejections, like double than that. And then before I got 10 rejections, I need to meet at least 50 people. And then to be able to meet those 50 people, I need to maintain a really good communication in message, email, or whatsoever to get those meeting. So it doesn't come because they suddenly want to book a meeting or they suddenly convert to leads or sell, but it's because the commitment that you know, like I approach and maintain and then do all of those activities. And yeah, it comes by your work ethic and commitment to get the excellence.
Mm-hmm. Um, I think the career that we are actually talking about right now, like generally in any career, one thing that is really important is the adaptability and resilience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially you talk about receiving rejections a lot. That also comes with a lot of adaptability. So, can you discuss the importance of adaptability and resilience in today's ever evolving, literally, job market?
Yeah, I know it's kind of like scary, right? Because people talk about, like recession and then those kind of things, but for me, technology is the one who make a really big impact on that. And um it's also different because I work with a lot of Gen Z, like people call it Gen Z now, which the career starter that might listen to this podcast. And I know we kind of have a different mentality because I'm millennial, right? So I just feel like a pretty big gap, especially about resilience, because I couldn't really explain the reason why we have that kind of gap. But um, it's indeed important because, again, like, you know, like the world moving so fast now. And if you always put yourself in a box, so that's why, like, I keep saying that I do sales and stuff like that. But if you ask me, like, are you only considering you are a salesperson, I will say no, because I know that my value is much more than that. And the reason why is because I need a flexibility to be adapted in other, opportunity and other um any other work opportunity that the world have now. So indeed, adaptability is really important. And it's not something that, it's not something that that's suddenly there. You need to really be conscious and then understand that, oh, the world is changing, so I need to adjust with it. And the awareness of that is something that you need to start first. And for resilience is to understand between your limit and what you are aiming for. So sometimes, like people work so hard and they say that they are resilient, but they just make themselves burn out, if that makes sense. I saw a lot of people that think that they are resilient. They're doing whatever they can to achieve things, but in the end of the day they just keep burning out themselves. And that's not resilience for me. So resilience is uh something that you committed about, once you really understand what your goal is. And again, that's very important, especially in this day, because you never know, because the technology is kind of like took over everything. So you need those two things to adjust and then keep doing whatever it take, to aiming your goal.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Actually, speaking of this, I have a question about the future of work from
Mm-hmm.
you. So, how do you see the future of work evolving? And what implication does it have for early career professionals who are actually listening to this podcast right now or watching it?
Yeah. So it's definitely, I mean, it's already changing, right? Like usually people go work, go to the office for work. Now you can just open your laptop, and then you can just prepare 1 minute before your working hours, and then like start working. So indeed, it's already changing. And um yeah, I mean, come back to the value that you were mentioned earlier as well, like adaptability and then resilience is something that you need to have. It's kind of like a must, whether you like it or not, to adjust in this amazing word. I don't really want to put it madness, but yeah, it's a really amazing. There's a lot of things going on in this time. And the other piece is, I can say, because back then people kind of like put everyone in a box, right? So there are more specialists rather than generalists. For example, if you are doing sales, and then you're going to spend the rest of your life doing sales. But now, like, you can be sales, and then suddenly you can be a project manager, and then suddenly you can be a marketing. So everyone need to do a lot of like multiple skills to survive in this like world, especially in the, like, I have a lot of companies that asking for certain roles, and then when I break it down, wow, it's kind of like five people doing one job. But again, with the technology, they can get support from the technology as well. So I kind of understand you only need one people that can have multiple skill for that. So uh, if you ask like how people can adapt or adjust with it, they need to really aware what is, what new things happening in this world, and then catch up, and then upskilling.
True. You definitely didn't want to use the word madness, but it definitely seems like that's what's happening in the world right now.
Do you also feel that?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, I have, we are going to actually wrap up the show, and I have one final question to ask you. Uh, this probably would be the thing that whoever is listening to the podcast right now has in their mind. What advice do you have for someone who is still figuring out what they want to do with their career?
Mhm. Explore everything. So when you have the opportunity, when you have the chance, a project or an opportunity to talk with the expert, just go with it. Because I mean, until today, like, I still figuring out, like, I like what I'm doing. So for me, it's always like a short term and long term goal, but mostly like 70% into short term. So if I don't like things that I do in daily basis, what kind of things that I can do to remove that, or like, simplify that or replace that. And the other piece is, um to, like, really understand what kind of essential things or value that you want to keep in a daily basis. So again, like, if you still confused, I mean, even I confuse sometimes. Like, I have a good day, I have a bad day, I feel motivated, and sometimes I feel demotivated. So even though I said that I feel, thrilled when I get rejection, also I I feel like I want to quit most of the time. But that's okay. It's just like, to get a rainbow, you sometimes need a heavy rain, right? So you need thunder, you need storm to finally feel, wow, I feel blessed that I have this job. But yeah, just take it day by day and then keep open for any opportunity that comes and just exploring. Then you'll figure it out. Then one day you start to realize, damn, like for me, damn, I've been working this for 8 years. Like I don't even realize for it. So yeah.
I know. Thank you for being so real with us, saying that you actually have bad days as well. Because it feels, to me, it always feels so good when we're looking at people and we feel like they have everything figured out, like they're experts. You're here as an expert to talk, right?
Mm,
And then the experts even tell you that even I have bad days. Even I have days that I feel like I want to quit. That actually makes us feel less horrible about ourselves and even try more. I think that's really important to like do the checkup all the time. And
yeah.
mentoring, having someone like you guys, experts in our lives, would actually help us like do the reality check to make sure that we're not lost in our thoughts constantly.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Rena. That is actually a wrap for today's RWD episode. Thank you so much for you guys for listening to our podcast, watching our episodes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And to our industry expert, Rena, thank you so much for generously sharing your learnings and insight with us today, and for taking the time to actually be on the show and really throwing gems everywhere. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it so much.
Thank you so much, Viv. Best of luck.
Thank you. So have a beautiful day and thank you guys for watching and bye bye.